Welcome back to New Rockstars News!
Hey. Christmas edition.
Yeah, gobble gobble. We're going to be talking about some new Avengers 4 updates, guys. Avengers 4. These updates keep coming out, and we're going to talk about every single one of them because there's information in all of them. Now, we also got some news on the timeline for the new Joker origin movie, the Joaquin Phoenix one, and some exciting rumors about the new Disney streaming service shows. Out of the ashes of Netflix Marvel come gold. That's how it works. But first, we should explain ourselves, right? It's our Halloween costume theme this year, and it's mashups, everyone. So as I introduce us, I will say what on earth we are wearing. I'm Erik Voss, and I am a shark eating a hot dog, and I'm the hot dog. Hot dog Erik. Yeah, that's me. Sam, what are you?
Is that a Pickle Rick reference?
Yeah, trying to be.
A quick flash. You didn't see that coming. Because the character died at the end. And Barry dies usually. So I'm just a dead character from two different properties.
Dead fast guy.
Also, you could be Venom because you got the scary teeth on the outside.
Just a turd rolling in the wind.
Yeah, you kind of are.
Yeah, you kind of am.
Yeah.
Aren't we all? And Maude Garrett.
Oh, hey, I am Warner Brothers cash cow. Yes. Well, I'm Harley Potter. So Harley Quinn and Harry Potter. Hey.
Yay. What's something that Harley Potter would say?
That's what I'm trying to think of. Instead of like, hey puddin', it's hey pumpkin. That's all I got.
Okay. We're working on it.
Yeah. I got the scar, all right. You want to know how I got this scar?
That's pretty good.
There you go.
Yeah.
Philip, what on earth are you?
Pee-wee He-Man.
Pee-wee He-Man.
Yeah, most of us don't get either of those references anymore.
I thought it was me in a suit.
Mod in a suit.
I didn't.
Hey, Paul Rubin.
Of the universe.
Yeah. By the power of Grayskull, this show should start.
Yes, it should. Now, we've also posted our top 3 submissions that we've received from all of you guys on our Instagram. Thank you to everyone, all the multitudes of you who sent us your mashup costumes.
We had
you all look
people
amazing.
pouring over these things all week. Gosh.
Yeah, it was wild. Ding, 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 notifications.
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding. Now, at the end of the show, we'll announce the winner, and we're so excited to see this. But let's get started with today's show, okay? So here's what we're looking at this week. We got confirmation via Mixed Martial Arts podcast that Frank Grillo will be in Avengers 4.
Wow.
You remember Frank Grillo or Grillo? We're not sure. We think it's Grillo. He says that his character, Crossbones, Frank, right? Was his name Frank or Brock? Frank? His name's Frank, but his character's name, anyway, Crossbones. You remember him from Civil War and Captain America: Winter Soldier. He will make an appearance via Flashback, he says. Brock Rumlow. Yep.
Yes.
Now, as a refresher, he was in these movies.
Gryffindor.
He was a Hydra agent who had infiltrated S.H.I.E.L.D. He showed up at the beginning of Captain America: Civil War. He tries to blow himself up. Scarlet Witch contains it, but then she moves him over to a building, and a bunch of innocent civilian casualties happen that lead to the Sokovia Accords. Now, what does Frank Grillo coming back into Avengers 4 mean? What could it mean? He says it's a flashback. Could a flashback just be his word for time travel? Could it be Tony Stark's BARF technology, the memory flashbacks that they use to work through their past trauma? The implant that they have. We have seen some set photos that have shown BARF showing up on set, possibly in Avengers 4. And is that what that means? And lastly, in the comics, Crossbones does actually kill Captain America, and Bucky takes over. It does seem unlikely, but who knows? What do you guys think this news means for Avengers 4?
What a bummer of a way to end that movie. Like, they beat Thanos, they're out of it. And Frank Grillo's like,
just sniper.
They unsnapped me, and then he snipes him right when they're done.
He got unsnapped.
And he says, "Can I be frank with you?"
Oh!
Before he does
and
it.
he flips the gun, he dabs.
No,
on
he
it.
doesn't. No, he
Yes,
doesn't.
does.
Definitely I remember that the big rumor at the end of Civil War was that we all thought Steve Rogers was going to die at his hands because of the comic book story. So I feel like they already missed that time to do that. I think he is playing a little game with us by calling it a flashback. My fingers are crossed that it's time travel.
Flash related?
But yeah, there you go. Good
Hey,
call.
Flash, where's your back?
I know, different cinematic.
Hey,
and comic
flashback.
universe.
Thank you. 10 points to me.
no,
No,
you
I
can't do that.
would rather it not be the BARF's technology. Just because I think it's kind of a cop-out. You got the time travel. You already played with it in Avengers Infinity War. Yeah. And I would like them to kind of double down on it. This is a sharp mask, I'll be honest. It's very
where's it
sharp on the
hurting?
inside.
Yeah.
It's hurting on my chin.
I can
it's hurting
see
on
that.
my eyes.
This is a shark mask.
This is a shot.
I sharked it.
I think Flashback to me sounds like an actor who doesn't fully understand the cosmic sci-fi concepts that have been put in the script. Like, it's I don't know how to say this without getting sued by Marvel. It's a flashback. Flashback is something that's in every movie, so I can say I'm in a flashback without saying, like, my character gets brought to life in some crazy, trippy way. It's just a flashback. That's not controversial or going to get me in violation of my NDA. That's what that sounds like to me.
Well, the flashback is because, we've seen him before. Why would they go backwards to characters that we've already seen that don't really necessarily play a pivotal role? You know what I mean?
Well, the theory is that has been brought up a couple times, that like through time travel, they go back to key moments in MCU past.
That's cool.
And then they maybe recruit that version of Captain America from that moment when he was just starting to distrust S.H.I.E.L.D., but was like the most heroic version of Captain America, arguably. And they pull like Hulk from the, which version of Hulk's
show
probably?
version?
They get Lou Ferrigno.
Side of a road.
So maybe that's the idea, or they just go back to key moments in their battles, like that elevator moment with Crossbones before he was Crossbones with Captain America was such a badass moment. So maybe they go revisit that somehow and they restage it. And I don't know. I'm just trying to piece together set photos.
Sounds like a flashback to me.
It does sound like a I guess it's a flashback would be a fair, safe way to describe whatever the hell that is.
Okay.
It would be my guess.
I like that theory. I would be on board with it.
Flash would be on. Yeah,
I would be on board with a little time travel.
Well, I think I brought this up right after we saw it, where I was like, man, it would be so cool and so dark if they don't bring those people back, but instead they bring alternate versions of them back.
Yeah.
Because that means the ones that died are dead.
Right. There should be consequences, right? You don't want to just like reverse things and people are just like, they didn't really die. No one's really
in
dead.
The geek world, really?
Impossible.
That's some Doctor Who
Inconceivable.
stuff, though, where it's like we got this person out like the second before they died, and time is frozen when they died, so they get to live on for eternity until they want to die. Like that's it's a little bit of a cop out. I don't, but that sounds what it sounds like, and I just don't know if like I would want to see that on the screen. Also, I don't know if would audiences like get it? Would they get it like immediately? I don't know.
It'd be tough. I think maybe if you went into parallel timelines versus time travel. Because time travel, people start thinking like, wait, it's like grandfather paradox, like butterfly
Wait,
effect.
no, the idiot voice doesn't know the grandfather paradox. No. Wait a second, are we talking about Einstein Bridge?
I read anything negative online through that idiot voice that is in my head.
Even if it's
but you're right, it's much more.
No, they'll get out a chalkboard or an expo board and they'll be like, no, you see, here
Rosenberg's
we are.
mistake.
Here, but after Thanos snapped, we're here and here and here and here. So
Jeremy
everything's
Bearimy.
fine. Jeremy Bearimy.
But I think in alternate timelines, that's something, Rick and Morty, we've talked about that before, right? Like, they're one of their big rules on Rick and Morty is to never explore time travel. They have a joke that, like, in the background, they have time travel stuff on the shelf that they never use it because they're based on Back to the Future loosely, and they're like, we don't want to get into that. Instead, we'll go into, like, alternate dimension versions of that. I think with stuff like Rick and Morty, people, like, the idea of alternate timelines and alternate dimensions and things like sliders, like, people are kind of get it.
It makes more sense.
Yeah, and in the comics, there's more of a, there's
Jerry
also, there's 616 Earth in the Marvel world, and there's all these thousands and thousands of alternate universes. So it wouldn't necessarily be completely out of left field to introduce the idea of alternate timelines where history played out differently.
It is funny that you brought up Rick and Morty. That is exactly a scenario where they ruined everything and then left that timeline, essentially, but that dimension. And those consequences are still real. They ruined a whole planet, and all those people are dead.
Cronenberg, C-137 universe, yeah?
Right.
Yeah, oh boy. We were just watching the eclipse of The Fly, which is, you see how that inspired all
what everyone
Skin was
became.
falling off.
That's awful. That's awful. That's an awful movie. And if that's how Avengers 4 ends, I'm going to be pissed. It's going to be awful.
Just everybody gets Cronenberg.
Yeah.
I gotta say, guys, I love this like journey we've been on of like week to week finding the littlest clue of like.
Sorry, the close-up.
The sausage is winning.
The sausage, the sausage really.
You can't
I'm
look at me.
into the sausage, this side, and it'll work its way over like a lunar eclipse. My head is too big. It's just too big. No, every week or several times throughout the week, there's little tweets that come out, and it gradually we're going to piece together all the different things that this could be, and it's fun to discuss all the things with you. It's been a delight that I never thought we'd get to this much level of fun of just discussing rumors.
We did recently find out that Marvel Studios is aware of these videos, and they're fine with them.
They're fine.
Which makes me feel like we're nowhere near right.
Either nowhere, or maybe too close.
Sometimes.
Sometimes maybe too close. Or maybe they're like, no, we don't want people thinking this could be in the movie, and they get disappointed when it actually is not that.
True.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, let us know what you think this means. Flashbacks. What are some different things that maybe we didn't think of that Grillo could be hinting at? But for now, let us move on to this week's trivia question. Oh, and as always, GIF of shame are the consequences for this. We have some new GIF of shame possibilities that we put in the box. So who knows what's in there? But let's read this week's trivia question. Our question is, we were asking this before, what is Crossbones' real name? Okay, all of our answers are in the blue bin. We'll reveal what the answer is at the end of the episode, and then our loser will have to join the gift of shame, as always. But now let's move on to some other news that came out this week.
This is going to be the weirdest gift of shame, where they're just like, why is this hot dog dancing doing the nay-nay?
You immediately
And why
say
isn't
he's
he dancing
losing?
into my mouth?
Are you predicting that Eric's going to lose?
I was talking about a different hot dog. Hey guys, a Redditor posed an interesting theory this week. This comes from specifically a reference to Ant-Man and the Wasp. So in that movie, we see a shot of a video from an online close-up magic university. You guys thought that didn't matter, but it maybe totally matters. It's pulled up on a laptop because we know that Scott Lang has been learning magic. That's how he's been spending his time. And so the clip, if you're paying attention, it's about misdirection, one of the keys to magic. Getting the audience to look somewhere else is the idea, so that you perform the real trick without them noticing, because you have their attention over here, right? Here's what gets really interesting. Specifically, the method that the video is referencing is saying, snap your fingers. That gets them to look over there.
Aha!
A snap is a misdirection. Now,
yes, it is.
A lot of paranoid fans, but us included, have been theorizing like, well, there's a very famous finger snap recently in the MCU. Could that be foreshadowing that Thanos' snap is actually just a distraction for a more horrible, more evil plan? And if so, what else could Thanos be up to?
What is more evil than eradicating half of the inhabitants?
All of the universe.
But the other half?
Yeah. He's like, he secretly is snapping his another set of fingers. What I'll say, even though it sounds a little crazy, of like, well, we built up so much what he was doing in that movie, like, isn't that what he was doing? But I will say that I've heard rumors, and I think they have to be true, that Avengers 4 is not really only going to be dealing with the idea of undoing the snap. There's a whole new problem that they have to deal with throughout that movie. So it is pretty clear that something else is probably going to happen.
Russian bots.
Pretty big. Trying to get the election figured out.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you got to think about what the slate is coming up with Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel, right?
So whatever goes on there, that's the new thing.
Well, the Skrulls will be added to the MCU at that point.
Think about this. I think there's a video on this channel. There is. I made it. It's about the villains that could come after Thanos.
Right.
One villain that would be that's grander, that's bigger, like a wider scale villain that you could play with is Kang, and he's a time travel character. So you could have someone that actually maybe influenced Thanos' own journey through this. Like, why would he even know about going on this journey in the first place? And he's like, well, I need to get things lined up for what I need to do. So I'm going to start.
Did you say he was a time traveler?
Yes.
So who has the time stone and who knows what the best course of action is? Doctor Strange. That could put the timeline theory into effect. I like it.
See?
20 points to Gryffindor.
I'd say it maybe leads to Kang, and that there's a lot of time travel-y problems. We had, and also the MCU's only like dabbling into time travel is like minimal. It's always just like back a couple seconds, couple minutes, and it's like no. Let's go ham.
Let's go full on Back to the Future ride at Universal, where they like are flying all through time, chasing Biff,
stuck in a volcano. It's
Eaten
great.
by dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Yes.
A volcano.
And sharks. Yeah, I think I think if anything, it is a meta thing by like the filmmakers in the studio, right? Because like realistically, Ant-Man and the Wasp was being shot and produced separately. I don't know how much Peyton Reed knew about the ending of Infinity War while he was like writing and shooting Ant-Man and the Wasp. However, I could imagine Feige being like, no, this will be a fun thing just from a meta level, because yeah, as we have seen with Infinity War, they intentionally like led us into thinking specific characters could die, and they blew us away by killing off half of them. Like that was a big misdirect. I think it would be interesting if it was that. And they're like, we actually did it. No one expected that. Well, I'm sure some people did. But in Avengers 4, I would be a little disappointed if it only just dealt with the aftermath of the snap. You're talking about a movie that's going to pivot into phase 4. There's so many There's so many things you could introduce there, from mutants, now that you have licensed control to the X-Men universe. Skrulls, as we talked about with, why not introduce this idea of everyone you've seen before, half of them in this case, are actually Skrull imposters. And there's all kinds of things. Just the idea of a misdirect.
Are you
I think,
saying
is possible.
my Inhumans could be Skrulls?
What
Yes.
do you mean you're in?
They're resurrecting the
Because I
Inhumans.
watched it.
You want to take responsibility for
Yes.
that?
Not taking responsibility. I am just
Right.
their support system. They could be. I gotta tell somebody. This is a big deal. I'm interested.
Yeah.
So the only thing I'll throw, I like your idea that you're kind of saying like it's almost like a more meta level, like
Mm-hmm.
just like a larger level of misdirect. But I will say Peyton Reed, of course, had to know about the snap because
You think
of
he
his,
did?
because of his post credit.
Oh, the post-credit scene.
I mean, they
yeah,
could have done that a
maybe,
while
yeah.
after.
They could have. Yeah, they could have been in reshoots after the fact.
And Russo brothers directed that scene too.
Oh, did they?
Russo.
Russo?
Oops, don't quote me on that. Usually that's how it happens.
Yeah, they
so.
have had movie like
Taika
Taika
Waititi
Waititi directed the Thor
Right.
Ragnarok post credit.
And they did the
you
Ant-Man
know, you
post-credit
get what I'm saying.
scene for Civil War.
Aha.
Aha.
Yeah, yeah. Well, let us know what you think. I think the snap might be too much if it's like literally a snap doesn't exist, or the snap isn't something real, or it's just foreboding something in the universe. But I think from the filmmaker's perspective, it could be a meta thing.
Let's move on. I got
Yeah.
some news I want to talk about regarding the Disney streaming service and its shows. There have been some rumors and rumblings about the shows for the upcoming Disney streaming service app this week. First, being the idea that maybe the cancellation of Netflix's Iron Fist (RIP) and Luke Cage Bigger (RIP) means that the Heroes for Hire show that we've been thinking about for years is in the works. Though Luke Cage and Iron Fist often both play a big part in Heroes for Hire in the comics, and that would be cool. It's really just a conspiracy theory at this point,
Hey,
which
just
is a
on
bummer.
that, did you say that you would quit the internet if Daredevil was cancelled?
I would be super duper bummed, and you just canceled American Vandal, so I'm not
Yeah.
feeling real great right
Really?
now.
American
And
Vandal
Netflix,
just
yes,
canceled
it's
it?
an
Yeah, it's a
amazing
How many
TV show.
seasons could that show get?
One more,
Get one
even
more out of
three.
it.
That would have loved
I
that.
think it could have a
There's another
time.
bodily fluid that could get
Just
involved.
one, I would have loved it.
I
But
love that show.
we also still have the Loki and Scarlet Witch shows in the works, and then lastly, there's been some talk about a potential Nick Fury show, and now people are saying that that's not true, but there is something coming that is bigger and better than a Nick Fury show. That's the rumblings online right now
Oh, yeah,
from
Slash
Slash
Films,
Films.
yeah,
It's a
yeah,
big
yeah.
insult to Sam Jackson. We're like, no, way better than
Yeah.
Nick Fury.
Yeah.
This
Bigger,
old guy?
better.
We
Sam
got something
Jackson.
way cooler.
Hey,
Probably
he's not,
lasers.
He's not old in Captain Marvel.
I know,
Yeah,
right?
that
Got
CGI looks
de-aged.
so good.
It does look really good.
Yeah,
But
so great.
what are your guys' thoughts on the bigger and better show and what it could be about? What characters could we be dealing with? Maybe teams? Could we actually finally see the what was that team that Freeform almost had with Squirrel Girl? Remember that show?
Oh,
They had it for a second and then it got canceled. They're like, no, we'll find a place for it. That never happened.
Hold on,
Not Power Pack, not New Mutants. It's the youngers, the youngins, the young.
because they were building up Squirrel Girl to potentially be like a Captain Marvel-esque, rescuer.
There you go. And now the
Rescuers
actress.
Down Under. What?
I love that show. But now she is over on Marvel Rising, the new animated show, playing Squirrel Girl. So good for her.
Got it.
You made it there. But no, yeah. What kind of characters would you want to see on this? I think taking MCU proper characters and moving them over. Wouldn't it be confusing if they moved the Netflix characters over? Or am I thinking too much about
No
this?
way. The
Yeah.
CW sold Buffy
Supergirl?
over to UPN, and then Supergirl went from CBS.
Yes.
to
Nice
CW.
reference.
Yeah. Yeah.
Supergirl and Constantine. They just like took him from NBC.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, that happened over here.
Yeah. I'd love to see some version of Damage Control, right? That
That's
was
exactly what I was thinking.
in
too,
the works
yeah.
at first,
Yeah.
and then they did.
Well, they were going to do both. They were going to do two versions of the same
Yeah.
idea, and I think neither happened.
right. Well,
Yeah.
they did one on NBC. They had an actual show. that
Powerless.
was
Oh, did it?
Powerless?
Did even,
yeah.
That's
but that
the
that
one I
one
It
was
went like a
talking about.
season, and
Yeah.
then didn't
well, and
keep
it's the
going,
one that
yeah.
they kept revamping.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that
it
one's
was in
set in the
development
DC
forever.
universe.
Yeah.
And they started with the same idea of ground control. Maybe fill people or ground control, damage control.
Yeah.
Fill people in on what that is.
So Damage Control, it's from the Marvel comics. It's basically the ground level world. It's almost like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but more specifically, it's the people who have to clean up all the messes every time like there's some calamity, like after the Battle of New York or after Sokovia or after the Triskelion disaster. Like they're the people who are like sweeping up, and it's almost like a kind of an office set type comedy, but they deal with the aftermath, and rather than like the secret agent world of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., it's more of like cleanup crew.
A little like a Vulture story in Homecoming.
Yeah,
Except,
because you have Damage Control now, but it would be fun to get like a workplace comedy. I watched Powerless. It could have been better. Had some good moments. Could have been better, but it got canceled, so too late for that show.
There was a lot of interference on that show. I remember,
Yeah, but I think if it's just like complete Marvel Studios, Kevin Feige controlled version of this, I think there could be a really fun version of that on the new Disney streaming app.
On
I'd love for
Damage
them
Control?
to see that. Yeah, Damage Control. Just doing it as it is in the comics and keeping that tone because it really is a great comic series.
If we get any of the Netflix characters, they should do Daughters of the Dragon before they would do Heroes for Hire, mainly because the fandom behind these shows that is vocal, even though we've seen like some statistics recently, they're like the word around Luke Cage season 2 and Iron Fist season 2 was pretty low. The support behind Simone Missick as Misty Knight and Colleen Wing, Jessica Henwick's Colleen Wing is it's way bigger. Also, I think they're kind of better actors all the way around. So Daughters of the Dragon series, or even Heroes for Hire, and they're the main characters of that show, with Luke and Danny being a part of it as well.
But man, if they got relegated to like side characters on that show, like, oof.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe
Optics.
it's them four all together, but they're really good characters and they're strong actors and they have support. So Disney, if you're gonna pick some characters, pick them.
Ma,
I have a little bone to pick with this whole thing about Luke Cage and Iron Fist. Apparently, the word is they got cancelled because there wasn't enough social media conversation. Not enough people were tweeting about the shows, and that's how they valued it to its success or not. So it's like social media and people that are very vocal are dictating what we can and can't be watching these days.
Do you think that's true?
That's what the report said, that there's just a less online traffic.
Because that's the only thing we can know, but Netflix has their numbers of how many people are watching.
They don't
just
release
won't
their
tell
ratings.
anyone about them, and they use it to their benefit. But I bet Netflix is kind of like, if everyone was watching it and it weren't being talked about enough, they probably would have kept it. But yeah, I mean, I think that maybe that's the closest thing we can use is social media, because it's true. Like when we would do videos about it, you guys remember we used to do videos constantly about the Netflix universe, Marvel universe, and then Iron Fist came out, and then we kind of had to stop because you guys didn't even want to watch videos about these things.
Some of you did. Some of you did.
Yeah, of course.
Just not
but
enough. Yeah.
I mean, we cared enough to make them, right? Like,
Right.
it's like we clearly were the people that cared, but they're just like, it was a measurable difference where we had to stop it.
Yeah, the best metric we have to go off of, because sometimes we look at ratings and box office and things like that to decide, and it's also based off of what we're interested in. But like, yeah, we can see on like Google search stuff, like how much people are Googling things, how much people are searching on YouTube for things. You know what's interesting is when we look at stuff like when we looked at Luke Cage and Iron Fist, they were around where like Jessica Jones and Daredevil season 3 were, and way higher than other Netflix shows like probably American Vandal or Orange is the New Black or Glow or this new The Haunting of Hill House. Like I searched for that, and Maniac. Those things are like bottoming out. Like not a lot of people. At least like with Luke Cage, there's like blips on the radar. So it's interesting. Like
maybe it's a
maybe
price
comparatively
difference.
from their first season, it must just cost a lot to make those
Marvel
shows.
licensing or something.
Yeah.
It must be
makes
the
sense,
licensing,
yeah.
because it's like, even looking at Maniac, the set design and the like how they built out that world,
Yeah.
it's mind blowing.
And the talent, like Jonah Hill's got a
Yeah,
cost.
real
right?
quick, let's get back into the idea of what shows we're thinking
shows
that
you'd
Disney
want.
might have. I'm going to throw
call.
one out there, and I want to hear somebody top me with a weirder one.
Okay.
But I would love for Hawkeye to finally get his due, and he gets a show where he's essentially Jason Bourne, because that's what they tried to do in the Bourne franchise.
I watched that
Jeremy
movie.
Renner.
Jeremy Renner was going to be the next Bourne, and then that movie didn't work.
And the next Tom Cruise,
he was
Ethan
going
Hunt,
to be
right?
the next Ethan Hunt.
It didn't
yeah.
happen. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
He's going to be the next Eric Voss. Like, it just keeps going. Yeah.
No
You
bit.
gave me
No
one
baby.
time.
If you're gonna do that, bring Kate Bishop on. She's the other Hawkeye, and honestly, she's my favorite Hawkeye. So
I'd be down for that.
and do it like make it spy stuff, or make it street level if you want to. Either way, Hawkeye works for both, and have her either he's training her or thinking he's training her, but she's already like aced it. She's already like equal to
Sam
what
figured
his.
it out.
Yeah, there
He
you go.
figured the whole thing out.
There you go. I
Give
picked
this
it.
guy a studio.
Thank you. Look at me.
Give me something weirder, a weirder show than that.
Quicksilver, but right before he's shot,
Slow
he
gold.
runs around the world and like lives his last
whole
day.
life.
A
Oh,
whole
I
life.
really like that.
It
Superman
makes
stuff.
it don't think it makes sense, but
good.
we could try it. Aaron Taylor Johnson,
Nice.
you can do it.
I love that everybody else would be in slow motion. So he'd be like living his last life, but people are just like, ugh.
Maybe he runs back in time.
And then comes back to get killed.
Yeah, he's got to, because time starts getting
all messed up.
Insert Doctor Who reference. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wibbly wobbly.
One of you said earlier, and this is what I'm trying to call out, one of you said a Thanos origin story, which I thought was actually
That was
would be
you.
pretty cool.
That was
Oh
Sam's
yeah,
one.
something with his parents and
Before
Alars and
Gamora?
Or just like essentially something out there instead of something down here.
Yeah.
Like a cosmic story.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
how about
Right.
this? You take Nick Spencer, great writer. He's writing Spider-Man right now. He did a Superior Foes of Spider-Man, and it was about the Sinister Six, but it was always 5 people, and they're all like the lamest. They're like, they're like, it's part of the allure. Like everyone's like, where's the 6th guy?
I
Like where are
like
they?
that.
And they're
Sure.
all awful. They're so incompetent, and the leader's always just lying. He's always lying, even to you, the reader. It's got some of my favorite moments in like comics. It will make you. It'll tickle.
Your
you.
what?
I don't know. Go ahead, tickle you. It'll make you giggle. It's
Yeah.
a good story, and I think like incompetent bank robbers is a fun concept that like Marvel, and then with Marvel you get fun costumes too. So maybe you can have some fun there.
There was that deleted scene from Thor Ragnarok where Odin was homeless, right? And then
yeah.
I want to see Hob Odin. How about Hob Odin?
How about that
You just wanted
costume?
the
Where people
gun.
think they can make him fight another homeless person cruelly, but then he just like
You're doing bump fights?
zaps him.
And is there a
Goodness.
pay-per-view series?
Yeah.
I'll just throw out there, finally, the last one. I think it left my head when I threw my hand. I forgot what I was going to say. No, it is, Sam, go ahead.
If you wanted a kind of like traveling with this like sadder hero throughout like a wide like
Quick, no, let him say it.
landscape,
We'll forget it.
Silver Surfer. You go to different worlds, and I want something
Oh,
like that.
Oh, yeah.
very
There you
cool.
go.
That'd be cool animated too. But just do the Fantastic Four there.
Yeah,
Good way to
like
bring him in.
just stop trying to do movies and just do the Fantastic Four as like
Fantastic Surfer.
4 people.
Mm.
There you go. That's
Yeah,
my pitch.
just Have
Woo.
a hangout. Yeah.
I
we
got
figured it out.
I got Joker news.
Oh yeah, moving on to some other stuff.
Yes, we got a little interesting bit of information came out about Joaquin Phoenix's Joker movie. Basically, Joaquin. Yeah, he's whack.
Joaquin
Oh wait,
Phoenix.
can't call him that. Can we? That's-
Joaquin?
Mm-mm. Doesn't that mean something different? Doesn't mean that's something different in this place? Hey, anyway, Batman's not going to be in it. Not even as a kid. No Batman in this movie at all. The actor that was cast to play Bruce Wayne, Dante Piera, also looks to be about 9 years old, so he's not going to even be Batman yet.
Okay,
There's
this is
a-
a young
Gotham.
version.
Baby Bruce.
Young baby Bruce.
Look at
Whoa,
baby
look at
Bruce
those
and his
eyes.
blue eyes.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is like obviously setting the timeline big time. Little funny, confusing fact that this young actor actually played a young Joaquin Phoenix. That's how I say his name. How do you say it?
Joaquin.
Joaquin.
Joaquin?
Like he's
Narkin.
walking here.
Joaquin.
I'm
over
walking
here.
here. I'm
Yeah,
walking.
basically.
Joaquin.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Phoenix.
cool.
Yeah.
What's
the name of the movie?
You
were never really here.
really here.
He played the young Joaquin in that movie.
Yeah,
Now
But he
he's
was
playing
never
Bruce
really
Wayne.
there.
Yeah, he was
Oh,
whacking.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joaquin.
So what?
That's
So you
all.
want us to help unpack that?
Sure, but I mean, there's not much to say. It's just that, there's not going to be Batman. It's going to be well before that time. And the only thing that you can kind of dissect from that is that the Joker's going to be, real twisted before Batman becomes a man.
Well,
Yeah,
I have a
so-
hot take about this.
Sure.
Gotham already did it, so now you're just digging into what Gotham did. You're playing with Gotham scraps.
But it worked on Gotham. Yeah.
Did it?
Did it? Wait, didn't the Joker play? It was the young Joker on Gotham.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it was a
young
guy
Bruce
who
Wayne.
was named Jerome something, and then you found out he had an evil twin who turns into the Joker. You guys don't even watch.
I don't watch Gotham.
You're embarrassing me.
No, you're
I don't watch
embarrassing us.
either.
No, you don't.
I don't watch either.
I think I lasted
this is like
one
this
episode.
is
I
like,
lasted the pilot.
This is from like 5 different people describing it to
Oh,
me.
yeah.
Can we cut to Sam real quick? Close up. Sam, are you hiding like M&Ms in your scalp? It's like so
Actually,
obvious.
there.
when I was running super speed, I kind of headbutted a brick wall, so my skull's kind of like jelly
Concaved.
beans right now.
Skulls
Makes
like
me
jelly beans.
hungry.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I think it is weird though, establishing this timeline that when Batman gets older, he's fighting a Joker who's like 30 years older than him, right?
Yeah.
That's
Doesn't
odd.
that kid look like a small Victorian boy?
Yes.
Like a doll that came to life?
He looks
Oh, a doll.
terrifying. is what you
Victorian
mean.
boy.
The Michael
time.
Keaton Batman with Jack Nicholson, though, it felt like, you could have an older Joker.
Yeah, but it wasn't like, as good as it gets Jack Nicholson fighting him. They were just talking about like just a couple years after The Shining Jack Nicholson. So he's still kind of a
You
young
just
man.
Jumped ahead like a decade.
88, 89.
Shining?
The Shining was 83.
Oh,
six
and that
years.
movie, the first one was, yeah, you're right.
It was 89. 6
Let
years.
me-
So
I'll run back
but
in
Jack
time and
Nicholson's been the
check.
same
Could
age
you
in all of our
find out?
movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Everyone's right.
Can you make sure that you're running, not walking?
All right, guys. Any pun means we have to move on. So, in other news, Wonder Woman 84. I don't know if you guys heard about this. It moved its release date to summer 2020, which is actually they moved it to the same weekend that they released the original Wonder Woman because like if it ain't broke,
June 5th.
Yeah. Now, I don't know this for sure. Did they move it to the same weekend as Guardians of the Galaxy was gonna be?
Oh, I heard
because it
that
got
they
pushed, right.
Or did they move Wonder Woman and they moved in a different movie to that weekend? Godzilla something?
I don't know about where it came from, but
Men
I'm
in
just
Black?
thinking like it definitely would make a lot of sense if Guardians like frees it up. If DC's just admittedly like, oh, thank God, okay, we didn't want to go up against you.
Yeah, because Guardians got pushed back. It was
Right.
going to be 2020. Got pushed back to 2021.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, someone, I got to credit them, but if we pull up a picture on my, I got this sent to me on Instagram, Philip Molina on Instagram, someone thinks they spotted a tiny baby Voldemort in
He must not be
Guardians of the
named.
Galaxy.
In the collector's
Well, he was a
place?
baby, so Voldy. And man, I can't even find him anymore. But yeah, so first of all, take a look at this picture. Do you guys think that is what we're seeing? Is a little Voldemort? It's in the
over here?
collector's
Yeah.
place.
You know what it looks like to me? It looks like that episode of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air where Will's dad abandons him, and then they zoom in on that statue of the father and son clutching each other at the end, and he's like, "Why don't no one want me, Uncle Phil?" And he cries. That's what it looks like. I think that's what it is.
does.
Pull it up, the picture that he's referencing. So that
Put it in post.
Yeah,
Thanks.
I don't remember that part of that scene, but yeah, I
You remember the episode though? It was
Of
sad. We all
course.
cried at the end.
It was a good.
We
It was a
cried
good
at the end of a lot of
episode.
those episodes. What a good show.
Well, if you look at it the other way, because you're looking at it as Voldemort in a fetal position, but if you turn it around, it looks like the character that Rex is in Mass Effect, the alien species that are usually. Well, I mean, you're asking my opinion, then that's what I see.
Yeah. No, this is exactly what
It's
I
a
want to
bit
hear.
like a Rorschach.
You see, it's like a reptilian sort of humanoid, big, bulky tank creature. Rex,
Yeah,
no?
it
Anyone
kind of
remember
reminds
that
me
one?
of characters
You know
from
what I'm talking
Prometheus too.
about? Thank you.
I don't. I'm sorry.
That's
Oh,
fine.
like a xenomorph chest burster or something like that.
Kind of like that,
Yeah.
but also the way that they would be on the side and like the DJ was all like
Yeah.
coiled up.
Oh,
anyway,
sure.
John Joe Williams, that's who it was. Thank you
thanks,
for
John
sending me
Joe.
that on
Appreciate it.
Instagram. And then also,
You got any Voldemort?
we don't. There is Baltimore news. It's always time to move on. There's a rumor that Henry Cavill is going to actually end up appearing as Superman, or maybe even just as Clark Kent, one last time in the post-credit scene for Shazam.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Yeah, that'd
Yeah.
be good.
taking
One
over for
last
me,
time.
and he fades away into
Yeah.
and Zachary
Yeah,
Levi.
or he just takes Zachary Levi and he's like, let's get out of here.
Let's
But,
get-
like,
I thought you were
Just
going
go
to
have
say
different
he fades away
careers.
into anxiety. I was like, yeah, relatable.
I would love to see him one last time because
Yeah,
I feel
at least
so
once
awkward
more,
that
yeah.
like it's just like I'm back. I was dead and I'm back, and then like they never see him again.
Yeah, wasn't it like there was negotiations over him appearing in Shazam
Yes.
that led to like the negotiations
With the
falling
and
Winter
that he
apart?
was going to do it, so I wouldn't be
a
surprised
bummer.
if
What if they
this
just
is
get an actor
them
that
healing.
kind of looks like him and then they CGI the rest in place?
Yeah,
Ah.
they take his
Can't be any worse.
upper lip from Justice League and they CGI
build
the
it
rest
build
around
it up from
Put
there.
it over Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Yeah. Great. All right. And then also, Zack Snyder revealed that there was a different ending to Justice League. Some of you guys
Ooh.
theorized this. A lot of us did too. Instead of it ending the way it did, it would have ended with the heroes, I'm assuming, having just defeated what's his face?
Steppenwolf.
Looking up through a boom tube.
Ooh.
I used to
Boom
wear
tube,
those
as
in the
you
90s.
know. What was that? You used to do that in the 90s?
I used to wear those in the 90s.
Boom tubes.
Move on.
Your,
Move
your
on.
booms. Okay. So if you know boom tubes, it's what Darkseid would potentially be using to travel to Earth. So I don't know if they
Kind of a wormhole
look
thing,
through
yeah.
and like you waved. When I was little, I used to think that you could do that to China. If you drilled a hole, you could go hi and they go
Hello.
hi. So, but maybe that's what happens.
That's
in this
exactly
movie.
the same thing. Yeah. But at the end of the movie, you actually almost see it because you see Steppenwolf and the parademons pulling him up into something. So
Right.
they would have been right there if he was peeking
Right.
down. Maybe they could
And
have
it's
peeked
very
up.
realistic. They'd be like, "What the hell's that?" And they just walk over and kind of like look up like that. Yeah.
Yeah, why do you think that maybe they're like, we don't want to commit to a big
Another movie.
cliffhanger?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the test screenings maybe weren't going great or something.
Probably.
I don't
And
know.
then finally,
Movie's not as
James
bad.
Wan tweeted out just a nice little picture, a nice to look at. It's of Aquaman characters riding sharks like horses. Who hasn't
yeah.
wanted to do this since they were a little girl?
That's what we
What's
do.
crazy is this is practical. So cool.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
built like
Yeah,
a
they got-
harness and everything.
They got a Mosasaurus sea crocodile looking thing. They genetically resurrected it. Yep. You know,
That's how we
a
get
little
to
crazy.
Yeah, Willem Dafoe's actual shark.
Why can't they just swim on their own? Why do they gotta ride them?
Well, because they're
Right.
very good at swimming. They're very fast. So I don't know why they
Speed
can't.
Star?
No, I don't know why they need to.
You get tired.
We saw Aquaman swim like a torpedo
Yeah,
in one of the
exactly.
trailers.
I think it's to enslave fish kind
In
and
Aus-
just be
There's
like,
got to be a hierarchy.
yeah.
In
like
Australia, we
animal
don't
farm.
get our
Apex
driving
predator here.
license, we get our shark license.
In Australia.
Yep, that's how we get to school every morning.
Can we somebody Photoshop that for us, Mod? On our way to school, back of a shark. Time for lightning round.
There's
Lightning
news.
round.
Oh yeah, moving on. Jeff, thanks.
Thank you.
Jeff.
All right, kids,
Thanks.
you know what this means.
Jeff.
This is when we start our lightning round.
one's-
What a blast! This is when we new rock stars pull your questions. Yes, you tweeted us questions, and I'm going to fire them at our co-hosts. Usually it's the other people, but old Sam's got the power today. Ha ha!
Just as Flash, so you
And-
got the lightning.
Yes.
You can throw lightning.
You guys have to answer these as quickly as possible and without hesitation. Are
That's
you
new.
ready?
Bananas.
Eric?
Yes, I'm ready.
Are you ready, Philip?
Yeah.
You
Apple
did it-
pie.
You ready, Mod? All right, buckle up. Here we go. First one goes to Sam at Rob Sparker. Favorite
all
character
for
from
Sam.
Daredevil season 3. That would be Bullseye. Next up, Mod
Yo.
at Pookness Monster.
Again?
Yeah.
She's done it.
Is Nightmare Before Christmas a Halloween or Christmas movie?
Oh, I
question.
don't care.
3. Oh.
You know I don't watch.
You don't get any
I-
more questions.
It's good. It's a
Till the
Halloween.
next one.
Eric at
Halloween.
Sensei.
It's a Halloween movie.
There you
Go. It's a good
I think it's
question.
a Christmas.
It could go either way.
At Sensei_im. This is Eric. Which two horror
Christmas movie.
Which two horror monsters would you like to see clash in a versus film?
Oh, I want to see It Follows and The Thing. I would see It Follows has sex with The Thing and then follows. No, that's not how it works. The next question.
Every
Philip,
week, your answer's it follows.
This
I
is
love that
from
movie.
Carissa Main.
Hey, Chris.
If you had to go as any other YouTuber for Halloween, who would you go as?
Ooh. I like this question. Ooh, I know who I wouldn't. What's her name? What's her name? Poppy.
Oh goodness, she dressed up
Doggy?
as like a dominatrix, or she had human puppies
Poppy.
on the carpet. Yo,
At Madison Lay 87.
Yep.
What MCU movie post Avengers 4 are you most excited for?
oh,
2 4s in that. Lightning.
For
Lightning.
what?
I want a really good
Lightning.
X-Men movie.
Yeah.
There you go, yeah.
Oh.
MCU.
Perfect,
X-Men,
perfect,
yeah.
perfect.
Agreed.
There you go.
Agreed.
Philip at Sensei_im. With Halloween's success, which horror icon would you like to get rebooted?
I don't do that one. Don't do that one. Oh, do Hellraiser.
Ooh.
Yeah, Hellraiser needs a reboot because Hellraiser's really cool and they kind of messed
What
it
does
up.
he do?
A generation doesn't really know Hellraiser.
No,
I
do not.
with the
Just
doink,
like-
doink, doink, doink.
He's got
Yeah,
the pin
exactly.
face.
Yeah,
He's a
but
doink
why?
head.
What,
Yeah.
How did he get the doinks on his face?
You had
Yeah,
a
it's
doink.
the origin story. Let's
Acupuncture.
see it.
There we go. This is for Sam at Jeffrey-Carter. Who would win in a fight? Mogo the Living Planet,
Ego?
DC, or Ego the
Mogo.
Living Planet,
Mogo, yeah.
Marvel? Mogo, because he's a Green Lantern. He can make Green Lantern stuff. And lastly, this is to all at Cappy Kid. Favorite and worst Halloween candy, starting with Mod. Favorite and worst.
Oh, you guys don't know my candy. Picnic bars.
There you
Best
go.
by far.
That's a made-up one you make at home. Worst.
Picnic bar.
Licorice.
Worst.
Sandwiches.
Licorice. That's right.
Red vines. Red.
Well, do you mean black licorice? Or just any
Australian licorice. It's Australian candy, guys.
Yeah. All right. Philip.
Yeah. Worst candy corn. Easy. Best full-size king-size Snickers bar.
Interesting.
Oh, that is
So a
good.
Snickers bar is a chomp. A picnic bar is a chomp bar that and
You
a
gotta keep going back on that.
Snickers love child. Oh, it's so good,
Which
guys.
one's a
Pic-
chomp bar?
A chomp bar is like just a weight. Oh,
Oh, wait,
Chomper's a
please
Tim
say
Tam
another
mixed
reference.
with a
Yoinksa,
Malteser.
boys. yeah.
Picnic bars. Look them up.
We'll look them up.
Doesn't that sound good? Oh, my favorite would have to be the little boxes of dots that you can get, rip out your fillings. And then my least favorite are the apples that have razor blades in them. No, the orange taffy. You know that weird orange and brown and black taffy that has no like
Laffy
brand
Taffy?
name on it?
No.
Laffy Taffy's delicious. It's just this weird like unmarked taffy that has razor blades in it.
y'all have
Stop
some,
giving it out.
Y'all have some weird answers. Favorites, a tie between Twix and a Sour Patch product. Worst is dots, because that's not food.
I love dots.
Well, you crazy.
You get
a
the green
dot?
ones or the red
Dots
ones?
are so
What flavors
weird.
are
They're so
those?
lame.
They're so delicious.
Red and green.
Red and
You
green
said it.
flavors.
Green,
lime,
stupid.
Oh, it does.
Damn.
Thank you all for sending us those questions. Happy Halloween. Now comes the time for a 50-second shout out. Anyone want to start?
Yes.
Maud, go for it.
Making a Murderer season 2.
Nice. That was
Yep.
quick.
Oh,
Thank
how
you.
was it? It was
Well, I've
good?
only seen the first episode so far, but it's really great. It's 9 years past the conviction
Yeah.
of the first round, and then this time there is a really brilliant female lawyer that comes in and is going
I heard
to
about this.
unravel and destroy the case.
Oh, wow.
It's really cool.
Ooh.
Great.
Interesting.
Philip?
It's an old-ish one, but actually just go, if you haven't seen this, you probably haven't, go find on either iTunes or on the Google Play Store a movie called Coherence.
I just heard great things about that. Weirdly.
I love this movie.
It's great.
It's I don't want to tell you, I don't like look up too much or whatever, but it is science.
Did you say
It's
paranormal a little
sci-fi.
bit? Did you go to say
Sci-fi
it? Did you go to say
horror.
paranormal? Is it paranormal?
It's not it's not like that, but it's just sci-fi, but just so cool. But you can mess it up yourself, so don't look it up. Just watch. Also, it's the only other thing Nicholas Brendan ever did after Buffy.
Yeah.
Oh,
And that's true.
that's not true.
Part
He got
of it.
arrested like
It's-
9 times.
Oh,
It's
He
so
did you eyes,
watching.
yeah.
It just, and then while that's on Netflix, is it? Maybe.
No, I don't know
Maybe
where it is
Apple
right now,
Movies,
but I'm
maybe.
saying like just go find it and
find
rent
it.
it. It's just like a good find.
A good, if you're looking for another kind of scary movie to watch on over this next week, The Invitation on Netflix. It's another one of these movies like Coherence that I highly recommend. It's just like, I don't even want to tell you what happens in it. It's just like a very simple kind of scary thing with some great actors, and I think Logan Marshall Green is in it, and the guy who John Carroll Lynch is in it. He's one of my favorite character actors.
Who's so good in Zodiac.
He's in amazing Zodiac. He's
Yeah.
in one of the best episodes of The Walking Dead.
And the
depending on who
Drew
you
Carey
talk
show.
to.
Joaquin.
Yeah.
Dead?
He's great, and he's in. He's at the end of Zodiac.
Joaquin
Yeah, it's fantastic. So The Invitation, go watch it.
That's the super vague. Red Lantern.
Yes, Red Lantern.
Okay.
And-
I have seen that one.
Yeah.
My recommendation, if you want something a little bit happy for Halloween,
Boo.
I know, boo, but
I'm
check out.
listening.
I said this last week, but please watch Hilda. It's an animated series on Netflix. They're canceling so many shows this week. Please don't cancel this show. It will warm your heart, and they're getting a season 2. Let's get a season 3.
Sounds good. So check out all those things, guys. And before we move on to our trivia answer, let us reveal the winner of our costume
Yay!
mashup contest. The name is Blitter Object.
Glitter object.
Thank you.
Blitter
This is,
Object.
oh, look at this.
Well,
Now, Eric,
smooth looking trooper.
What two properties are being mashed up here?
Pitbull and Star Wars.
Yeah, is it 305? Yeah.
Well, that is an interesting tux, right? I wore a similar tux like that in high
course you
school
did.
Because I'm like, oh, what if white was the color of the tie? But
To
he
school?
actually went all the way with
You
it.
just said you wore that to school.
Well, I did on the week of a play I was doing where that was a costume, and I'm like, oh, I'll just
I'll
look
wear
really
it
cool.
all week.
I also
Yeah.
did a presentation on the light versus dark imagery in Apocalypse Now, and that was like part of my presentation. A triple whammy, really.
Yeah.
That's a turkey of a suit wearing.
Let us know what it actually was. I don't think it was a reference to Eric's high school.
No, it's not, but it's obviously.
costume.
I think it
Man.
was a reference to my high school. Hello. But congratulations. And you will be receiving, we'll reach out to you on Twitter, you'll be receiving a $25 Fandango gift card.
Yeah. We
Congratulations.
forgot to have a prize the first time and the second time we talked about this. Eventually we threw in a prize,
got
so
a
now you get a
prize.
prize. That's why it's always fun to play.
Yeah,
prize,
always play.
mother-
Always play. And let us move on to our trivia answer.
Yay.
Our question before was, what is Crossbones' real name? The loser, as
Frank
decided by
Grillo.
our judges, will have to say I gave you your own. We'll have to join the gift
now
of shame.
also give me my.
And I'll take Phillips. Okay, so what did we say?
Eric said Brock Bruno.
Brock Bruno. I think it's Brock something. Fimo said Brock Rumlow.
Cool. Maud said Brock Ramlow.
And Sam says, Brock, rum's a good drink.
No.
Rumlow.
Yeah.
Rumlow, everyone.
Without a W at the end.
It's
Correct
Rumlow.
answer was Brock Rumlow, and is spelled with a W. So
Oh.
the winner, I think someone said it exactly, probably Philip,
So
right?
I wrote it exactly, but I totally heard Sam earlier just say his name was Brock Rumlow.
Hello.
But I'm being honest about that.
Hey, but that's honesty is the best policy. So I think I'm not the judge. Why am I weighing in on this?
Yeah.
Who's-
Judges, so who lost? I think Sam should win.
Brock Bruno is Eric's answer.
Because Sam actually knew it. Sam
Yeah.
drew it from his own mental bank.
Oh, you doing that thing where you're talking a lot so we don't pick you? Eric had the worst
I
answer.
did. I'm not
Brock
going to
Bruno,
argue
yeah,
that.
the judges say
I'm not
Eric
going to
lost.
argue that. Okay.
You know, you're all my friends if you think about it.
I love all of you. Don't make me do this. Okay, so I'm going to join Gift of Shame. And it's going to be really
Shame.
hard to gift me because I'm wearing a hot dog and a shark. But we got some new ones.
Well, this is going to live on the internet forever. So
Oh, I like that. A contact lens is sliding back into your eyeball. That's so specific.
that was mine. Yay!
Yeah.
And you have a lot of problems with that.
Okay,
of
so
shame.
our winner, Sam, will
Gift
read our goodbye.
of shame.
And everyone's going to chant shame at me.
Shame.
Because
Shame.
I ruined it.
Shame.
Okay.
Shame.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
Shame.
All right.
Punch in on that. How
Let's
about it?
punish ya.
Hey, can
This
you
is
not?
cool. Happy Halloween. There it is.
Oh.
There it is, boys and girls. But oh wow, he's really nailing
the
it. Can you
drugs
get it?
kick
Can you
in
get
on
it?
the
Can
dance
someone
floor.
blow in his eye? Can you get it out? Oh, you look like you're about to cry.
Oh.
Get it.
It's on your brain.
Well, well, guys, thank you for watching this week's episode of New Rockstars News. I want to thank our hosts, me, Sam Basher on Twitter, Eric Voss at EA Voss, Philip Molina at Fimo, and Maud Garrett at Maud Garrett. Happy Halloween, but comment down below and tweet at us at
What
New Rockstars. Like this video, share it around, and subscribe to New Rockstars for deep dives into stuff you love. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.